Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. I'm really pleased to welcome all of you to the How I Made It series. It's a bunch of different professionals who are going to talk to you about what they love to do and how they got there. And I'm really eager to introduce you to today's culinary pros. We have John Aspra, who is the owner of Epicurean Cowboy, and we have Chris Warwick, who is the, what's your title again? I'm not looking at my sheet. I know it's at Serenity House.
Serenity House, Director of Food Services.
He's the Director of Food Services at Serenity House. But I think you'll find out that it's usually not a straight line to where people end up, especially when they're in the culinary arts field or when they're doing an entrepreneurial venture. So the way things are going to go today is that I'm going to have each of them share a little bit about who they are and how they got there and their story. And then we're just going to open it up to you all, and you can ask any kind of questions, well, within reason, questions about their profession and how they got there, and they'll answer them for you. And we're very informal here, but what we'll do is about 10 minutes each with an intro, and then we'll open it up to questions. So, John, do you want to go ahead and go first?
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Well, no. You guys are going to have to forgive me a little bit. I didn't find out I was going to speak until a couple of hours ago. So I'm nothing prepared. And I think in a good sense, that's probably better for this setting, is I'll just speak from the heart and kind of where I came from. So if I bounce around a little bit, keep me on task, settle me down. Epicurean Cowboy is a catering company, a vision that I started almost 11 years ago. And the truth of the story is that I was a college football coach in a prior life. I went to school here in 1979 and 80 and played football here at City College. And of course, like most young guys, my mind's on athletics and extracurricular and not necessarily academics. So I was, through a long series of struggling and working hard at my academics, I ended up getting my degree, my master's degree in higher education administration, emphasis with athletics. I wanted to be an athletic director, a college football coach. Had some neat stints. University of Hawaii, coached at the University of Hawaii for several years, Texas, and here at Santa Barbara City College. I was an adjunct. I'll have a point to this story, so bear with me. I was an adjunct instructor here at City College. And one day they came to me and said, John, the climate of the department and the physical education department has changed. We love you, but we're going to go in another direction. And we're not going to renew your adjunct contract. I was devastated. And that was over the holidays, I think about 1999, 2000. All right, I said to myself, all right, Asper, now what are you going to do? I rolled out of bed the next day and reinvented myself, and I became Epicurean Cowboy. And it's as simple as that. There's a lot of things in between that happened, but that's not far from the truth. Yes, I've been in a family of restaurateurs, and I've been in and out of restaurants as a kid. Worked as a busboy, worked as a waiter, bartender, all through school, all through college, yes. My mother raised 4 children by herself, and I was the oldest of 4. She ran a hospital in small town Texas. And I was always expected in our culture to get up in the morning and do breakfast. So I was always used to cooking. And I had always thought about an art form. My brothers and sisters all play. One's an incredible writer, publisher, other's a musician, et cetera, et cetera. My art form was, I knew how to live, I guess, and to do that through entertaining. Loved to entertain, loved to cook, loved to so forth and so on. So back to square one, a little bit from me, real quick, just to kind of bring that to square. Came from a completely different background, in culinary background. In other words, I wanted on a fast track, didn't go to culinary school, self-taught. So, what's your point, John? My point would be to any of the older students, or not necessarily older students, it's students, period. It's never too late to follow a dream, and this was always a dream of mine, and that's the bottom line. It was a dream, it was a passion of mine, Epicurean Cowboy. All right, fast forwarding, Epicurean Cowboy. And the other, on the flyer it says, I've made it. I don't know that I've made it. Still, every day is a grind. And that's the one thing, if you don't leave here without anything else that came from me, from my heart, you've got to realize whatever it is that you go into, whether it's culinary arts, whether it's business, advertising, being a mother or father, being a good parent, you've got to be willing to do the grind work. And it's what we were just talking about. My day as an owner-operator of a small catering company, I do everything. I do everything from wash the dishes to take out the trash to all the administrative work, and God knows I'm administratively challenged. I do all the advertising. You know, we've gotten to a point now, 10, 11 years later, where I've got a series of good contract chefs, bar managers, floor managers, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a team around me. So when we do these big gigs, I'm not doing it all by myself like I used to. All right, a little bit about Epicurean Cowboy. How in the heck did you come up with the name Epicurean Cowboy? Epicurus, if no one knows who Epicurus was or is, that's the word of the day. And I really encourage you to either it's Wikipedia or Google it or find out who he was. He was controversial at best, but one of his many quips was what the art of living is through abundant, good food, great wine with our friends and our family in the great outdoors. And that kind of transcends into my cowboy ethos. Grew up wanting to be a cowboy. Some guys grew up wanting to be professional surfers or a golfer or a football player. I always envisioned the great outdoors and being a cowboy and the romanticism that comes with that. And that's another one of our how we live, and the gospel that I try to spread through the ethos of Epicurean Cowboy and our approach to food. And I'll get in more to the mechanics towards the tail end. But here's where I come from, and and how this relates back to, I came from a completely different background, different life. As a college football coach, now you're a caterer. Is that the art of living, how to live and do it with honor and responsibility and accountability to ourselves, to the client, to the food, to the art, to yourself. And it's not a sales pitch. It's who I am. It's who I want to be. And that's important for whatever you do. If you become a chef, you should be into it for the food and for the presentation and the art. And it is a hell of a way to go. It's pressure packed. It's not glamorous. You're on your feet for hours. It's hot a lot of times. A lot of times you'll miss holidays. A lot of times you'll miss things that are important to you, and all the other gangs out having fun, and you're back there grinding and getting ready for a gig. Moving forward a little bit towards the mechanics of Epicurean Cowboy, what separates me, my brand, and us as a company is that here's where I'm at. About food, you don't have to be a culinary artist and you don't have to be on television or have your own cookbook or have your own TV show. As a housewife, as a house husband, as a mother, father, as a student, for 1 hour a day, do yourself a favor and tell the rest of the world to go away. Turn off the television, turn your iPhone off, put some nice jazz on or whatever kind of nice music that you like, easy listening music. Tell the rest of the world to go away and create good food. Epicurus said, what separates us from the animals is our ability to enjoy food. The cat, the dog, the lion, the bear, they eat out of necessity. They need to eat today so they can live tomorrow, procreate, have babies, and move forward. We as human beings, we have a philosophy that we enjoy and taste food. It's important. That's what makes us happy. When we're sad, we eat. When we're happy, we eat. When we're celebrating, we eat. When we're walking down the street, we're thinking about food every day, hopefully in a, not a religious way, but in a romantic way that it fills our soul and gives me a sense of I'm learning the art of living. So, fast forwarding, I know I'm almost done with the 10 minutes. Epicurean Cowboy is a catering company. We cook everything from, we're not a tri-tip and chicken company, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to take the high-end barbecue, if there is, I wish there was a better term, because as soon as you say barbecue, it puts you in a genre, a connotation of what that is. But it's okay, grilling, outdoor cooking, barbecue, whatever you want to call it, but we take it to the next level. And we're creative. We cook everything from scratch on site. So we're a little more expensive than the other guys. I don't cook in the commercial kitchen, wrap it up in a chafing dish, bring it out to the site, light a sterno can, ring a cowbell, and everybody lines up and eat. We cook on site from scratch. The client many times has to build a canopy, so you have a controlled environment. We'll bring in commercial grade ovens. I've got all my grills and burners and things, but you'll need everything from a refrigerator. Anything that you have in a kitchen, you got to build in a field kitchen. To cook from scratch on site. Organic as much as possible the budget can afford. Unfortunately, organic's still expensive, but you like to get there and you like to push the client towards that. Presentation is everything. It's not just, I don't mean to throw the tri-tip and chicken guys under the bus, but I will just tongue-in-cheek a little bit. It's not about cooking some tri-tips, slicing them, putting in a chafing dish, and we're moving out. There's got to be some love and thought behind it. If you're truly thinking about going into the culinary arts, I encourage you wholeheartedly, but you've got to realize the long hours, sacrifice of self that it takes. Whether you're selling pencils or making tiddlywinks, or you're an atomic engineer or a brain surgeon, you got to pay your dues. I've been in it 10, 11, 12 years now, and I don't know that I've still arrived. I mean, I'm desperately trying to get to the next level. But with faith in our spirituality and commitment, we always seem to figure out a way to get through to the next day. We live many times from gig to gig to gig, from paycheck to paycheck. And then it'll be, feast or famine. We're running strong now. We've built a great reputation. Got a good clientele. Most of all of our stuff is referral. And I wish you nothing but the best. I see I'm getting the accent, so I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. I deserve it. I can go on and on. No. That's okay. That's part of my charm. That's okay. Here's real quick. I encourage you to go to the website and see it. Just do a Google search, see what Epicurean Cowboy is. Wish you nothing but the best. Work hard, study hard, be passionate, be focused, and whatever happens, be willing to pay the price and grind it out is my bottom line. So.
Thank you.
That's
Pat.
it, yeah.